We are Well Beyond, and we have developed a technology to implement and maintain rural health and water supply projects. We want to start by introducing you to a community in rural Kenya called Laikipia. It's a very remote, very dry place, and for a long time, they've struggled with access to clean water. The people who live here were part of the 785 million people in the world who don't have access to clean and safe drinking water. And this was their original source of water, an open borehole in the ground. These types of water points can be very dangerous. Both animals and people, especially children, can lose their lives trying to get water. The problem here was not a lack of resources. The problem was actually something you've probably already heard of, that NGOs had come, spent a lot of money, built some piecemeal infrastructure, and then were never heard from again. The fancy new well that the NGOs built eventually broke down, and the community did not know how to make repairs. The NGO also didn't know it had broken down, but even if they did, it would have been too expensive to invest in long-term maintenance. Like I said, it's a very remote, very dry place. Logistically, it's very difficult and very expensive to provide maintenance to these communities. Now, this is obviously a problem for the people of Laikipia, but what you may not know is that this is also a huge problem for the NGO. Donors like you know that a lot of resources are being wasted by building wells that break down and are then forgotten about. We're living in a much more transparent time, and NGOs now need to be able to truly report on the progress and impact they're having in a way that they have not had to do before, because donors, especially major donors, are demanding it. Their revenue depends on it. This is a problem for NGOs and governments around the world. Billions of dollars every year are invested into infrastructure that fails. In Africa, 60% of wells fail within a year. And despite all this money pouring in, less than 1% of international development projects have long-term monitoring. In the private sector, this would be completely unacceptable. If you're selling cars and most of your cars fail within a year and the customer can't find a way to fix it and you don't even know that it's broken, you're not going to sell a lot of cars. The same business realities are finally being revealed in the nonprofit sector, and the nonprofit sector now needs to adapt. But long-term monitoring has traditionally been very expensive and very logistically complicated. That's where we come in. We make it very easy for NGOs to deliver the information communities need to repair projects themselves and protect themselves from health and sanitation risks like COVID-19. We're filling an information gap that is critical to the future of international development. My name is Sarah Evans, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Well Beyond. I've been in international development work for over 10 years as a CEO and founder of our sister organization, the nonprofit called Well Aware. I'm a member of the Forbes Nonprofit Council and have been named a Toyota Mother of Invention, and I currently serve on the board of the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition. I'm also a recovering lawyer. I graduated law school and did securities law at a financial firm before moving on to Austin at a law firm there. And it was around that time I was asked to raise some money for a project in Kenya. That's where I discovered the water crisis, and I went on to found Well Aware, which now has brought clean water to over 270,000 people in many countries. However, what I'm most proud of is that unlike other NGOs who have a 60% failure rate after a year, we build systems that last and have maintained a 100% success rate over the last 10 years. But it's been this problem, this information gap, that is threatening not only our ability to solve issues like the water crisis, but also NGOs' abilities to continue to fundraise for these very important causes that has really inspired me the last few years.
Hi, I'm Catherine Bergman, and I'm the co-founder and COO of Well Beyond. I'm an engineer by trade, and after graduating, I worked at a large structural firm for a few years. I got involved with Well Aware and Sarah when I first started volunteering and traveling with the team. I fell in love with these communities and designing projects that are really sustainable and appropriate for these regions and communities. I've been so inspired to be able to use my knowledge and expertise to be able to change the lives of these communities. We have the opportunity to change the trajectory of these communities for so many years to come.
So we have taken our expertise of these water systems and placed it into the hands of the community members. We're providing maintenance and diagnostic information for these water projects, as well as educational materials on a broad range of health and sanitation issues. In turn, this provides the crucial measurement and evaluation reporting for our clients, the NGOs. With the impact reporting that we facilitate, our clients are able to raise more money, which in turn grows the impact that they are able to achieve. For a long time now, the sector has known that infrastructure alone is not the complete solution. Everybody knows that nonprofits and governments have been wasting time, energy, and donor dollars because they've been unable to fill this information and communication gap. We're now solving that for them and the communities that they serve. Most of you probably already know this, but I'd like to underscore just how much digital infrastructure has expanded in these regions. It's been much easier to give communities access to the web through cell phones than it has been to build them working well. But now, because they're on the web, we can help them fix their wells, protect themselves against health risks, and give them other resources to grow and develop. Let's go back to Laikipia County. As a pilot, we deployed our app in Laikipia County where they reported that there was no longer water coming from the faucet. With our app, we were able to remotely help them troubleshoot the issue and repair it on their own. In under 2 hours, their water system was working again. Now, in our experience, over a decade of doing this work in East Africa, the problem would have taken at least 2 weeks to resolve. The community would have tried to contact their regional office to schedule a technician to travel out to Laikipia. That technician would have potentially had to make multiple trips and ultimately charge them for expensive repairs. Realistically, it would have taken the community 2 weeks to get the water flowing again, 2 weeks without their only source of water. We know that every day a water system is down, the less likely it is to ever work again. The longer it is broken, the less likely it is to be repaired. With our technology, we diagnose and help them fix the issue in 2 hours at no cost to the community. When COVID hit, we realized we could easily expand our tool to deploy critically needed information to these communities to help protect themselves. The lockdowns in these communities prohibited NGO and governmental teams from traveling in and out to deliver the information in person. So Well Beyond sent the information instantly to communities with instant feedback from them to our clients. So far, our clients are happy to be paying for this tool.
We've grown a lot since our pilot program in Laikipia. As a matter of fact, we now have 10 clients, and our tool is deployed in Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Uganda, and India. From this initial client base, we're already generating $320,000 in annual recurring revenue. Currently, the revenue is completely from our base fee, which I'll talk about more in just a minute. But what's important is that we have already validated our project, established early traction while receiving great feedback from our clients, and are now leveraging our closest contacts in the sector to grow our client base. The international development sector is huge, and we estimate that there's about 35,000 potential clients in the market. While our standard base product is already demonstrating value, we believe there's even more opportunity when we develop supplemental educational modules that we can sell as add-ons. So as I mentioned, we already have a standard pricing package. It's an evergreen monthly or annual recurring fee. We've currently priced that at $32,000 a year, but we believe there's some upper elasticity to this. We've raised our base price before and received no pushback whatsoever. I mention this because pricing is a critical place that we're seeking investor guidance. Like I mentioned, we also believe there's a lot of opportunity in these additional learning tracks, like feminine hygiene, water treatment, or teacher trainings. We can sell each one of these as an add-on depending upon our client's mission in these communities. As Sarah mentioned before, it's not an infrastructure problem, it's an information problem. We can develop, sell, and track these information modules for organizations as they scale and expand their work within communities. As they expand their work, we provide the data and reporting that helps them generate more revenue from their donor base. We're providing our clients with quantitative impact reporting that helps them grow. And that's how we're also planning to grow this business. For example, we have a current client called WomenServe, We're currently charging them $2,600 per month for a base product. Over the next 3 years, they hope to develop and deploy the 5 additional training tracks, which will also engage about hundreds of additional users. And this equates to about 20% increase in cost per year, providing a substantial increase in data and impact provided to the client. And this is a quick overview of our projected financials. With investment, we expect to significantly grow our client base and revenue. Immediately, we're looking to make crucial hires to support our work. We have several clients already in our pipeline, but are frankly strapped for resources and onboards to service them. The WellBeyond platform provides infrastructure that facilitates impact at scale by making development infrastructure more accessible and more scalable. For clients, they've seen cost savings for mileage and transportation, operational efficiency, project replacement costs, as well as technician, contractor, and third-party costs. Overall, client savings have been great. And also, when systems are up and functioning properly, there is an average of 64% decrease in disease rates, 34% increase in education, and 58% education increase for girls. We are seeking $1 million for seed investment, and that's to increase our capacity, help facilitate our market expansion, and include overall product development. We've been very fortunate to have both Blake Mikowski of Tom Shoes and Nav Such, the founder of Silicon Labs, as a few of our pre-seed investors. And with this additional funding, we can really scale to impact the development sector as a whole. So again, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to be here today.
We thank you for being here today and allowing us to be here today. And we can't wait to follow up with the incredible impact we plan to have in the years to come.